For this question, we are going to need to know some geometry rules that are not given to us in that chart at the beginning of every section. But you should remember that that is there. There are times where it's going to help us, but let's take a look at what we're given first. We're told that y is equal to 20, so I would write that on my picture. And I'm told that z is equal to 60, so I would write that on my picture. And we're trying to find the value of x. So we got to work our way towards it. Now, the way the geometry questions work on the SAT is it's very rare that we're given information that we don't use. So the fact that these lines are parallel is probably useful. And basically the rule that we're going to use is, you might have seen this picture before, but basically we're making this picture where we know that certain things are congruent. So what I learned is that alternate interior angles on this picture are congruent. So that the ones I always see are the little acute angles kind of like on opposite sides of the line and within the parallel line. So those are the same. However, there's more to this picture. Because of vertical angles, we also know that the ones opposite those are congruent. And so there's other words that you might know here. The fastest way to get from the y to inside the triangle, which is where I want to be, is to use what are known as corresponding angles. Corresponding angles, meaning basically angles that are in the same position on the bottom chunk of angles and on the top chunk, right? So this is the benefit of parallel lines. It creates a lot of similar groupings of angles. So I'm looking here and I'm looking here. Now let's look at the picture here. It's a little different because they've cut some of the pieces out. But look, if I use the highlighter, it's kind of the same picture, right? It's kind of like a railroad track with a crooked tie. So where are those same corresponding angles? Well, y here matches with this one up here. So that means that this is also 20. And now we're in the triangle. And with any geometry question, generally speaking, too, if we get familiar shapes, we're in safe territory. Triangles, rectangles, circles, those are places where we kind of know what's going on. We know the rules, so we can figure things out more easily. Triangles in particular are useful because we know that there are 180 degrees in a triangle. That's also given at the beginning of the section. So if you don't have that memorized, it's given to you. And then we can subtract out the 20 and the 60 that we were given, and that's going to leave us with 100 degrees, which is choice B, which is the answer. So there we go. We got another rules. This is the thing with angles. There's only a handful of rules, but some of them we need to memorize. Others, like the triangle thing, are given to us, but we should be comfortable with all of them no matter what. And this parallel lines thing is pretty clutch. Normally, if they tell us lines are parallel, it means that that picture is somehow going to be involved. So you want to try to see it in some way, and then you'll know a bunch of angles. The other thing that I think is worth pointing out is this note, figure not drawn to scale. If I look at angle X there, it kind of looks like 90 degrees. If anything, it maybe even looks like 80. It looks a little less than 90. Right? That's not an accident. Normally, if we don't have that note, we can assume that the picture is drawn to scale. So if there's no note, the picture is drawn to scale. Trust your eyes. But when they put that note there, that it's not drawn to scale, it's probably because they're kind of messing with you a little bit. And it might mean that you end up getting an answer that does not match with the picture, right? 100 degrees is supposed to be an angle that's bigger than 90. Not much bigger, but it should be noticeable. It doesn't look that way here. And so that throws people off, is then they start to doubt themselves because their answer doesn't match their eyes. And so that can be scary, but I'm here to tell you that if they announce that it's not drawn to scale, you cannot let that deter you. You cannot let that throw you off. It is likely that your answer will not match the picture. That's part of the challenge of the question. So just deal with it. Trust the numbers, trust the math, trust the rules, and you'll be fine.